Another week, another signing for the Worcester Railers. It's the first defenseman announced for the 24-25 season. Defenseman Connor Welsh is back in a Railers uniform after his first year with the team last season. Welshie, good to see you again, and welcome back to Worcester.
Thanks, Tim. Great to see you as well.
Now, just talk about it so far, your summer, how things have been up in Halifax.
It's been good. It's kind of back to that same old training routine of being in the gym, being on the ice 2, 3 times a week. And then around that, I've been doing a lot of coaching and stuff. And then on my spare time, my free time, just trying to relax, hang with some friends, and play some golf.
Playing golf with the guys. I imagine when you were here in Worcester, playing golf with the guys plenty at the end of the year there, right?
I actually never got invited to any rounds with the guys. Maybe I'm not a good enough golfer to be with them, but not. I'm just joking. I never brought my clubs down, but maybe that's something I'll have to do now that I know about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I felt like every week the guys were going out after practice, just getting a few holes in. I know down in Florida there was some golf had down there too. But right now, just talk about the excitement for you to come back to Worcester, what it means. Obviously, you were acquired by the team just ahead of the 23-24 season this last year. Have a great year with the team, and now you're coming back.
Yeah, no, really excited. From day one when I became a railer all the way up until now, I've been treated well, and it's been a group that I feel has shown and expressed their want and interest in me, which, at the end of the day, every player wants to feel that way. They want to feel wanted. It gives them confidence and motivation to put the work in and show up and be ready to go. So from my end, very excited.
Expand on that a little bit more. Talk about what your conversation was like with head coach Bob Durrani and general manager and associate head coach Nick Tuzzolino when it came time to come back.
Yeah, obviously have a good relationship with Bob. So we had a really good chat last week, and I think we just both expressed our passion and confidence in what we kind of have moving forward and stuff. And Bob's a very passionate guy. He loves being at the rink. He loves putting in the work. So when you kind of have a guy like that leading the way, it makes it easy for you to show up. And if you're not putting in that same amount of work, it kind of you stand out a bit. So had a really good chat with Bob about that, and then with Nick, obviously. I'll have to show up and kind of get to know him and build on our relationship. But seems like a very good guy, from what I've heard and the little bit of research I've done. Seems like he knows what he's doing and works with some pretty high end players.
So it'll be good to start to develop that relationship, get that off and running. Let's talk a little bit more about your last season here. You played, first and foremost, you played 70 out of 72 games this past season for the team. Just twice you weren't in the lineup last year. I mean, that's about as much of a mainstay as you can be. Talk about what went into last season for you, just from a health perspective, and what it took to stay in the lineup as often as you did.
Yeah, well, obviously, it was a fortunate season for me where I was able to play a lot and get good opportunity and get good minutes. I think it helped early on to get my confidence and build my game a bit. And then on top of that, obviously I'm a smaller guy, but I've always taken pride in not really missing games. I've done a pretty good job in my career, even back into like minor hockey all the way through, being able to play pretty well a full season. So the first time in my career where I really missed a little bit of time was the season prior, the 22-23 season. I kind of fractured a finger in my hand. I missed 8, 9 games and then was able to come back. So that was a different thing for me there. But yeah, this past season it was awesome. I was able to stay fairly healthy, and it's just a matter of being mature, taking care of your body, and learning each and every year kind of what being a pro means.
All that time played, it led to a lot of great opportunities for you. You had a lot of great impact. Obviously, minutes played. You were seeing time on the power play and shorthanded as well. Actually, right up there on the team, fourth on the team in total special team points across both the power play and the shorthand. Just talk about your prowess last year on special teams, what you were seeing out there whenever you were in an odd man situation.
Yeah, I mean, obviously every player wants to be in those situations. That's why we work hard. That's why we play the game. You want to be an important piece on your team. And yeah, I was really fortunate to have those opportunities. And even on the penalty kill, like not the biggest guy, but there were times where Bob and Smo showed trust in me to be a guy that can go out there and make a play, be in the right position, get a clear when need be. So yeah, and on the power play, just being a guy that try to read the play well, have some deception, snap some passes around, try to set some guys up. So yeah, just those are kind of the things I would look for both those things.
One of the things I really wanted to touch on here with you was late last season after, Rapace had gone down and there were some leadership changes. You had actually gotten the A with the Railers. You had been honored with the A right on your jersey there. Talk about what that moment meant for you to be able to close out the season in a leadership capacity.
Yeah, it was special. It's humbling when, something like that happens and uh they kind of have to find a new group or maybe a couple new voices for the time being. And it means a lot to kind of be one of those guys that was able to step up and get that opportunity. Um, yeah, it's something another thing I've always taken pride in is trying to be a voice in the locker room. And, I've got a couple years under my belt in this league now. So definitely something I'm eager to build off of.
Talk, if you will. Obviously, there were a lot of great nights at the DCU Center this past year, but any nights in particular, any moments for you this past season that really stood out to you?
I would say the Ice Cats game was probably sticks out to me the most, mainly because that was probably easily our biggest crowd. It was sold out. It was awesome. The rink was jamming, but on top of that, I just remember Patch kind of getting that. I think it was the 61st goal of his Railer career, which gave him uh, the total or the highest amount in Railers history. And then I was also able to get on the board there and score a goal, which felt pretty good as well to be able to score in front of that crowd.
Railers are having another Ice Cats night coming up on Saturday, January 4th. It's going to be a 6:05 puck drop on Saturdays this year. That'll be against Reading. So that'll be exciting. Always got the fun mascot Scratch back in the building for fans looking to our Ice Cats fans from back in the day. Uh, little No, sort of more along those lines. Though you talk about great nights like that, you talk about fans. Just talk about the fan support that you guys got this past season and what it meant to have those guys behind your back every single night here at home.
Yeah, it's tremendous. The passion, the energy. When you show up and you've got a rink filled with people that want to see championship hockey and want to see whether that means we're winning or losing. If we're showing up and playing the right way, we're playing hard. They're always behind us. They support us and they appreciate that. So definitely makes our jobs easier when you kind of have that support.
And one other thing here, Welsh, I know we talked last year when we first actually got to know each other a bit more. We found out you were a Bruins fan. So obviously, being as big a Bruins fan as you are, I'm curious to get your take as to, how the Bruins have done so far this summer. Obviously, it's a largely Boston market that we're in, so we got some Bruins fans as well. Just give the fans your take as to what Boston's been doing so far here.
I'm excited for their upcoming season. I felt this past year, that there's been a group that's been getting written off for the last 4 or 5 seasons now, and I just love seeing them come back every year and still being a top team in the league. And this past year, they filled some holes with some veterans that they signed for a year, and they proved a lot of people wrong. They proved they've still got a legit core, and I think they did a great job to go out and fill in some holes that they were missing some key pieces on. Lindholm fills a centerman position that they desperately need to get filled. And Zadorov he's a unicorn within the NHL. He's a very unique player, and I'm very glad he's on Boston. So very excited to watch that team play this season.
Did you get out to a Bruins game last year? I forget. You may have at one
Uh,
point, right?
yeah, I did. I went to the Oilers were in town. It was actually a great game to watch. Um, it was 1-0 Boston, and with a minute left, the Oilers got a fluky one with the goalie pulled, and then they
Mhm.
ended up winning in overtime. But I got to see a great game of hockey, and selfishly and with a lot of bias, in my opinion, what should have been the Stanley Cup final, Bruins and Oilers.
Would have been a good one. I know Edmonton put up some good fight to at least get it back to a game seven after going down like that. So it was entertaining. Last thing I'll get you on here, Welshie, is a story you've told the guys on the road a few times here whenever we're sitting at lunch. You've actually skated with two of the more premier players in the National Hockey League back at home in Halifax with Sidney Crosby and Nate McKinnon. Just talk to us a little bit about that and how that spawned up and how that's happened before.
Yeah, it was a couple summers ago when I really got to kind of skate with them, and um, they were short on players. They were short on defensemen. They like to have 4 or 5 D out there, and they needed another guy. So, fortunately for me, I live very close to the rink that they skate at, and I was able to go out there and be on the ice with them. And yeah, it's a crazy experience. These guys they're the best of the best. The way they move on the ice, um, the determination and dedication they have within their skate. Like, it's the middle of summer. That particular summer, McKinnon's coming off just winning the Stanley Cup. And if things aren't going his way or he's not liking the way guys are performing out there, he lets them know. So just a lot of passion and yeah, just it's an absolute treat anytime I've been able to get out with them. So we'll see where the future goes, but
Well, the future is leading to the DCU Center on October 19th. Welsh, we're excited to have you back this coming season at the DCU Center. Last thing here, any final message for fans ahead of opening night?
just looking forward to the upcoming season. Really excited to be back in Worcester and be back with some of the same teammates I've gotten to know and gotten to build relationships with. So can't wait. Can't wait to get the DCU rocking and hopefully get a lot of W's this year.
All right, there you have it. Connor Welsh, the first defenseman signed for your Worcester Railers ahead of the 24-25 season. Welsh, thanks for taking the time today.
Not a problem, Tim. Thank you.